back to the gutter, where I found you!
Rain mixed with blood as Zara hit the pavement outside the luxury Seoul apartment building, her belongings scattered around her like debris from an explosion. Her lip was split, her designer dress torn at the shoulder, and her heart shattered into pieces she didn't think could ever be put back together. "You're nothing," Marcus screamed from the penthouse balcony above, his face twisted with rage and alcohol. "A pathetic Nigerian girl who thought she could play in my world. Go back to the gutter where I found you." Zara struggled to her knees, rain soaking through her clothes, mascara running down her dark brown skin in black rivers. Her hands trembled as she gathered her scattered photos, clothes, the remnants of 3 years she'd wasted on a man who'd promised her everything and just taken it all away. A crowd had gathered, phones out, recording her humiliation for social media. Seoul's elite entertainment district loved a scandal, especially one involving Marcus Chin, the famous K-drama actor, and his black girlfriend who never quite fit into his world. "Please," she whispered, looking up at the man she'd loved. "Marcus, please. I have nowhere to go." He laughed, cruel and cold. "Should have thought of that before you embarrassed me at the premiere. My career is more important than some clingy foreigner who can't understand her place." Then he disappeared inside, and Zara was alone in the rain with strangers filming her breakdown. If you're already feeling the pain of betrayal and wondering how Zara survives this nightmare, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button right now because this story is about to take you on an emotional roller coaster you won't believe. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, and let's get into this incredible journey. Zara sat there for what felt like hours, but was probably only minutes, too broken to move, too ashamed to meet the eyes of the people watching her fall apart. She was 27 years old, thousands of miles from her family in Lagos, with exactly 3,001 in her purse and a phone that Marcus had just remotely deactivated. No job because he'd convinced her to quit to focus on being his girlfriend. No apartment because she'd moved into his place. No friends because he'd systematically isolated her from everyone who cared. Just pain and rain and the crushing weight of complete devastation. "Miss, you cannot stay here." A security guard loomed over her, his expression mixing pity with annoyance. "You're disturbing the other residents. Please collect your things and leave." "I just need a moment," Zara managed through chattering teeth. The November night was freezing, and her thin dress offered no protection. "Now, miss, or I call the police." She forced herself to stand, her ankle throbbing where she'd twisted it when Marcus shoved her. Everything hurt. Her body, her pride, her soul. She grabbed what she could carry, stuffing wet clothes into a designer bag that now seemed ridiculous given her circumstances. The crowd dispersed, bored now that the main show was over. Zara limped away from the building where she'd spent 3 years playing house with a man who'd never truly seen her as an equal, just an exotic accessory to discard when she stopped being convenient. She walked without direction, letting her feet carry her through Gangnam's glittering streets. Around her, Seoul pulsed with life and light. Couples laughed in restaurants. Groups of friends spilled out of karaoke bars. The city moved on, indifferent to her suffering. Zara's phone buzzed. A message from her sister in Nigeria, Mom's asking about the wedding. "When are you coming home?" Fresh tears burned her eyes. There was no wedding. There never would be. Marcus had strung her along with vague promises while keeping her hidden from his family, his industry friends, anyone who mattered. She'd been his dirty little secret, and she'd been too in love to see it. She couldn't go home. Couldn't face her family's disappointment after all her grand proclamations about her successful life in Korea. Couldn't admit she'd sacrificed everything for a man who'd thrown her away like trash. The rain intensified. Zara ducked into an alley to escape the worst of it, pressing against a wall beside a high-end restaurant's service entrance. She was so cold, so tired, so completely lost. That's when she heard the gunshot. The sound cracked through the night, sharp and unmistakable. Zara froze, her heart hammering. Another shot, then shouting in Korean, rapid and angry. The restaurant's back door burst open, and a man stumbled out, clutching his shoulder, blood seeping between his fingers. He was Korean, probably in his early 30s, devastatingly handsome despite the pain etched on his face. Sharp cheekbones, intense dark eyes, black hair falling over his forehead. He wore an expensive suit now ruined by blood and rain. Their eyes met. For a moment, time seemed to stop. Then the door exploded open again, and 3 men with guns poured into the alley. The injured man moved with shocking speed despite his wound, pulling Zara behind him as bullets sparked off the brick wall where she'd been standing. He returned fire with a gun she hadn't seen him draw, his movements precise and deadly. 2 of the attackers dropped. The 3rd ran. Silence fell, broken only by the rain and Zara's ragged breathing. She stared at the bodies, at the blood mixing with rainwater, at this stranger who'd just killed 2 men to protect her. Or maybe to protect himself. She'd just been in the way. "You're bleeding," she heard herself say stupidly, her voice distant and dreamlike. Shock, probably. This night had officially broken her brain. The man turned to her, and she saw the exact moment he truly looked at her. Saw her split lip, her torn dress, her scattered belongings, her absolute devastation. Something flickered in his eyes. Recognition, maybe. Not of her specifically, but of someone at rock bottom. "You're hurt too," he said in Korean, his voice rough with pain. "It's nothing," Zara replied in the same language, her Seoul National University education coming back despite her shock. "You need a hospital." "No hospitals." He swayed slightly, pressing his hand harder against his shoulder. "They'll ask questions. You need help. You'll bleed out." He studied her for a long moment, rain streaming down his face. "You have somewhere to go?" The question caught her off guard. "I know. Then we'll help each other." He pulled out a phone with his non-injured hand, pressed a single button, spoke rapid Korean she couldn't quite follow. Then he looked at her again. "What's your name?" "Zara. Zara Okonkwo. I'm Min-jun." He didn't offer a last name. "Can you walk? Can you?" A ghost of a smile touched his lips despite the pain. "We're quite a pair." A black SUV screeched into the alley within minutes. 2 men in suits jumped out, their eyes widening at the bodies before focusing on Min-jun with professional calm. "Boss, we need to move," one said urgently. "She comes with us," Min-jun said, gesturing to Zara. "Boss, that's not. She comes or I walk." His tone left no room for argument. The men exchanged glances but didn't protest further. One helped Min-jun into the vehicle while the other grabbed Zara's scattered belongings with surprising efficiency. "Miss," he said, gesturing to the open door. Zara stood in the rain, looking at this impossible choice. Get into a car with armed strangers who'd just killed people, or stay on the streets with nowhere to go and winter setting in. Some choices weren't really choices at all. She got in the car. The SUV peeled away from the alley as sirens wailed in the distance. Zara sat pressed against the leather seat, her wet clothes soaking into expensive upholstery, watching Min-jun breathe through obvious pain. "Where are we going?" she asked quietly. "Somewhere safe." He met her eyes. "You saved my life back there." "I didn't do anything." "You didn't scream. Didn't run. Didn't make it worse." He winced as the car hit a bump. "That's more than most people would do. You saved mine first." "Those bullets. Wrong place, wrong time." His expression darkened. "I'm sorry you got caught in my world." "Your world seems dangerous." "It is." He didn't elaborate. They drove in silence through Seoul's streets, eventually leaving the bright lights of Gangnam for quieter, darker areas. The car descended into an underground parking garage beneath a building Zara couldn't identify. More men in suits waited, their faces professionally blank despite Min-jun's obvious injury. One opened the door, helped him out with careful efficiency. "Medical team is standing by, boss." "Good. Get her settled first. Guest suite on the 3rd floor. Everything she needs." "Boss, we should treat you immediately." "Her first." Min-jun's tone brooked no argument. He looked at Zara. "You're safe here. No one will hurt you. Rest, clean up, eat. We'll talk tomorrow." Then they were leading him away, and Zara was following a different man through corridors that screamed wealth and power. Everything was sleek, modern, expensive. Like Marcus's apartment, but somehow more intimidating. The guest suite was larger than the apartment Zara had shared with 3 roommates before Marcus. Bedroom, bathroom, sitting area, all decorated in calming neutrals. Her salvaged belongings had already been brought up, arranged neatly on a luggage rack. "Do you need anything, miss?" the man asked politely. "Where am I?" "Safe. That's all that matters right now." He moved toward the door. "There's a phone by the bed. Press 9 for anything you need. Food, clothes, medical attention. Someone will answer immediately." "Who is Min-jun?" The man's expression didn't change. "Someone who protects those who matter to him." "Get some rest, Mississippi." Then Zara was alone in a luxury suite with no idea how she'd gotten here or what happened next. She stood frozen for a long moment before her legs gave out. She sank to the floor, still in her wet, ruined dress, and finally let herself fall apart completely. Huge, gasping sobs that shook her whole body. Crying for Marcus's betrayal, for her own stupidity, for the violence she'd just witnessed, for the impossibility of her situation. When the tears finally stopped, she felt hollow. Empty. Like someone had scooped out her insides and left just a shell. She forced herself up, into the bathroom. Caught sight of her reflection and barely recognized herself. Her hair, usually carefully styled, was a wet mess. Her makeup had run, creating dark streaks down her dark brown skin. Her lip was swollen and crusted with dried blood. Her eyes were red and puffy from crying. She looked destroyed. Because she was. Zara stripped off her wet clothes, left them in a heap, and stepped into the shower. Let hot water pour over her until her skin turned red and the bathroom filled with steam. Washed away rain and blood and the feeling of Marcus's hands shoving her. But some stains went too deep for water to reach. She wrapped herself in a plush robe, found her phone in her bag. The screen was cracked but still worked. Dozens of messages now that it was reconnected to service. Her sister. Her mother. Friends she'd neglected. And one from an unknown number. Saw the video. "You finally showed your true colors. Don't contact me again. We're done. Marcus." The video. Of course someone had posted it. She pulled up social media with shaking hands and immediately wished she hadn't. The clip was everywhere. Zara on the ground, soaked and crying, begging Marcus to let her back in. The comments were vicious. Gold digger got what she deserved. Why do these foreign girls think they can trap our appas? She's so dramatic. Probably faking for sympathy. He's better off without her. Zara threw the phone across the room, heard it crack further against the wall. She didn't care. Didn't care about anything anymore. She crawled into the massive bed, pulled the covers over her head, and prayed for sleep to take her away from this nightmare. We're just getting started with Zara's incredible transformation. If you're hooked on this story, show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. Comment below what you think of Marcus, because trust me, this story is about to get even more intense. Zara woke to sunlight streaming through windows she didn't remember and panic flooding her system. Where was she? What happened? Then memory crashed back. Marcus. The alley. Min-jun. Blood and bullets and choices made in desperation. She sat up slowly, her body aching. A clock on the nightstand read 11:47 a.m. She'd slept for almost 12 hours. A soft knock on the door made her jump. "Miss Okonkwo? May I come in?" A woman's voice, speaking English with a slight accent. "Yes," Zara called, pulling the robe tighter. The door opened to reveal a Korean woman in her 40s, elegant in a tailored suit, carrying a tray with food and what looked like clothes draped over her arm. "Good morning. I'm Yuna, Mr. Kang's executive assistant. I hope you rested well." "Mr. Kang." "Min-jun, Kang Min-jun." Yuna set the tray on a table, arranged the clothes on the bed. "He asked me to check on you, ensure you have everything you need." Is he okay?" "His shoulder. He's fine. The injury was treated. He's already back to work, though the doctor told him to rest." A small smile. "He doesn't listen well." Zara looked at the clothes. Designer brands, all in her size. "How did you know?" "Mr. Kang is very thorough." Yuna poured tea from the tray. "He'd like to speak with you when you're ready." "No rush. But perhaps after you eat and dress." The food was Korean breakfast. Rice, soup, banchan. The smell made Zara's stomach growl, reminding her she hadn't eaten since yesterday lunch. Thank you, she managed. Yuna moved toward the door, then paused. Miss Okonkwo, I've worked for Mr. Kang for 15 years. I've never seen him bring someone to his private residence. You must have made quite an impression. I didn't do anything special. Perhaps that's exactly why. Yuna left before Zara could ask what that meant. She ate mechanically, barely tasting the food. Her mind raced with questions. Who was Min-jun? Why had men been shooting at him? Why had he brought her here instead of just leaving her in that alley? The clothes fit perfectly. Black slacks, a cream silk blouse, even undergarments and shoes in her exact size. Either Min-jun was incredibly observant or he had resources that were frankly terrifying. Probably both. She found her cracked phone, checked the damage. Still functional, barely. The social media posts about her humiliation had multiplied overnight. She was trending in Korea, and not in a good way. People had dug up old photos, created memes, written think pieces about foreign women who date Korean celebrities. Her inbox was full of messages from her family demanding to know what happened. From former friends offering fake sympathy. From strangers sending hate. Nothing from Marcus except that final text. He'd already moved on, posting a photo with his co-star with a caption about focusing on his career and true friends. 3 years erased like she'd never existed. Zara turned off the phone. She couldn't deal with that world right now. A knock on the door. Yuna again. Mr. Kang is ready when you are. I'll escort you to his office. Zara followed her through the building, noting details she'd missed last night. This wasn't just wealthy. This was powerful. She saw men in suits moving with military precision, high-tech security systems, artwork that probably cost more than her family's house in Lagos. Yuna led her to a top-floor office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul. And there, behind a massive desk, sat Min-jun. He looked different in daylight. Still handsome, but harder somehow. His suit was impeccable, no sign of last night's injury except for slight stiffness in how he held his left shoulder. His dark eyes assessed her with an intensity that made her want to look away. But Zara had learned long ago not to show weakness to powerful men. She met his gaze steadily. Miss Okonkwo. Please sit. He gestured to a chair across from his desk. Zara sat, back straight, hands folded in her lap. Playing the part of composed even though inside she was screaming. How are you feeling? Min-jun asked. Confused. Grateful. Scared. Honesty seemed safer than lies with this man. Who are you? Really? I run a business empire in Seoul. Import, export, real estate, entertainment, security. He said it smoothly, like a rehearsed answer. And people shoot at business empire runners? A slight smile. When the business involves competing interests, yes. So you're a criminal. I'm a businessman who operates in gray areas. He leaned back, studying her. Does that frighten you? After last night, I don't know what frightens me anymore. Fair enough. He opened a folder on his desk. I had Yuna do some research. Zara Okonkwo, 27, from Lagos, Nigeria. Graduated from Seoul National University with a degree in international business. Worked at Kim and Associates for 2 years before quitting to focus on your relationship with actor Marcus Chin. Hearing it laid out like that made her choices sound even more pathetic. You've been busy. I make it a point to know who I bring into my home. He closed the folder. Marcus Chin. Minor celebrity with major ego. Known for dating foreign women and discarding them publicly when they become inconvenient. You're the 4th in 2 years. The information hit like a punch. 4th. She'd been so convinced she was special, different, the one he'd actually love. But she was just another in a pattern. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to know you weren't the problem. He was. Min-jun's expression softened slightly. And because I want to make you an offer. An offer. You need a place to stay. Resources to get back on your feet. Protection from people who might harass you after last night's viral humiliation. He said it bluntly, not cruel but honest. I can provide all of that. In exchange for what? Zara's stomach tightened. She'd learned the hard way that powerful men always wanted something. Your skills. Your language abilities. Your business degree that you've been wasting playing house with an ungrateful child. He pulled out another folder. I'm expanding my operations into West African markets. I need someone who understands both Korean business culture and African cultural nuances. Someone smart, adaptable, and motivated. You want to hire me? I want to invest in you. Give you a position in my company, a place to live, a salary that reflects your actual value. He named a figure that made Zara's eyes widen. In return, you work for me, you keep my secrets, and you help me build something profitable for both of us. It sounded too good to be true. Which meant it probably was. What's the catch? The catch is that my world is dangerous. You saw that last night. Working for me means accepting that risk. It means people might target you to get to me. It means operating in those gray areas I mentioned. He held her gaze. I won't lie to you or make false promises. This life isn't safe or simple. But it is real, and it is yours if you want it. Zara's mind spun. Yesterday, she had nothing. Today, a dangerous stranger was offering her everything. It felt like a trap. Or a test. Or maybe just another way to get hurt. Why me? She asked. You could hire anyone. Someone already in your world who knows the rules. Because last night in that alley, covered in rain and running mascara, you didn't fall apart when bullets started flying. You kept your head. You didn't become hysterical or make noise that would have gotten us both killed. He leaned forward. You've been through hell, Miss Okonkwo. But you're still here. Still fighting. That's the kind of person I need on my team. I'm a mess, Zara whispered. You're a survivor. There's a difference. Silence stretched between them. Outside, Seoul sprawled in all its complicated glory. The city that had given Zara everything and taken it all away. The city where she'd loved and lost and learned that fairy tales were for children. If I say yes, she said slowly, I need to know exactly what I'm getting into. No more secrets. No more surprises. Agreed. Min-jun stood, walked to the windows. I run the Kang family organization. We're one of the 3 major syndicates in Seoul. We control territories, we manage resources, we protect our interests and our people. Some of what we do is legal. Some isn't. All of it is necessary in the world we operate in. You're a gangster. I prefer syndicate leader, but yes, essentially. He turned back to her. I inherited this position from my father 5 years ago when he was killed by the Park family. Since then, I've been consolidating power, building alliances, trying to legitimize parts of our business while maintaining our strength. It's a constant balance between violence and diplomacy. And you want me to help with that? I want you to help me expand into new markets that don't require violence. Trade, legitimate business, building something that lasts beyond gang wars and territory disputes. His expression was earnest, almost vulnerable. I'm trying to build a legacy, Miss Okonkwo. Not just survive, but create something meaningful. You could be part of that. Zara stood, walked to the windows beside him. Looked out at the city spread below like a game board. Yesterday Marcus threw me out like garbage, she said quietly. Told me I was nothing. Made me believe I was worthless without him. You're not. How do you know? Because worthless people don't keep fighting when everything falls apart. They give up. You didn't. He turned to face her fully. I'm offering you a chance to prove to yourself, to him, to everyone who's ever underestimated you, exactly what you're capable of. Revenge, Zara said. Success. Which is the best revenge. She wanted to say yes. Wanted to grab this opportunity with both hands and show Marcus and everyone else that she was more than just some foreign girl who got used and discarded. But fear held her back. Fear of trusting another powerful man. Fear of jumping from one dangerous situation into another. I need time to think, she said. Of course. Take the day. Stay here, use the resources, clear your head. Tomorrow morning, give me your answer. He walked back to his desk, pulled out a card. This is a phone number that reaches me directly. Day or night. If you need anything, call. Zara took the card, their fingers brushing briefly. Thank you. For last night. For this. For not treating me like I'm broken. We're all broken, Miss Okonkwo. The question is what we build from the pieces. Yuna appeared to escort Zara back to the guest suite. As they walked, Zara's mind churned with possibilities and fears in equal measure. "He's a good man," Yuna said quietly. "Mr. Kong. He's fair, loyal, and he protects his people fiercely. If he's offered you a place here, it's because he sees something valuable in you. Or because he needs a token foreigner for his African expansion. Mr. Kang doesn't do tokens. He does results." Yuna stopped outside the suite door. "I was a nobody when he hired me. A single mother with a criminal record and no prospects. He gave me a chance when no one else would. 15 years later, I run his legitimate operations and my daughter is in medical school. Whatever you decide, know that he means what he says." After Yuna left, Zara spent the afternoon in her suite, wrestling with a decision. She pulled up her cracked phone, looked at the viral videos of her humiliation. Read the comments calling her pathetic, desperate, delusional. Then she looked at Min-jun's business card. At the opportunity to become someone those people couldn't mock. Someone powerful in her own right. Her phone buzzed. Her mother calling. Zara almost didn't answer, but guilt won out. "Zara? Thank God. We've been trying to reach you for hours. What's happening?" "Someone sent me a video. Mama, I'm fine." "You don't look fine. That boy threw you out? After 3 years? After you quit your good job for him?" Her mother's voice was tight with fury and worry. "It's complicated. It's simple. He used you and tossed you aside. Come home, baby. Come back to Lagos. We'll figure this out together." Home. The word ached in Zara's chest. She wanted nothing more than to run back to her family, to the familiar comfort of her childhood, to a place where she mattered. But running home meant admitting defeat. Meant Marcus won. Meant she'd wasted 3 years of her life for absolutely nothing. "I can't come home yet, Mama. I have an opportunity here. A job offer." "What kind of job?" "International business. Good salary. It could be really good for me." Her mother was quiet for a long moment. "You're staying because of that boy. Because you're ashamed." "I'm staying because I'm not finished here yet." "Zara, pride is expensive. Don't let it cost you your peace." After they hung up, Zara sat with those words. Pride. Was that what this was? Or was it survival? She thought about Min-jun's offer. The risks. The rewards. The chance to become someone new, someone stronger. She thought about Marcus, already moving on while she struggled with the aftermath of his cruelty. She thought about the woman she'd been when she first came to Korea. Ambitious, driven, full of dreams. And the woman she'd become under Marcus's influence. Smaller, quieter, always apologizing for taking up space. Which woman did she want to be? Don't go anywhere because Zara's about to make a decision that changes everything. If you're invested in her journey, make sure you've hit that subscribe button and turned on notifications. Drop a comment telling me if you think she should take Min-jun's offer or not. And smash that like button because this story is about to get wild. By the time morning came, Zara had made her choice. She dressed in the clothes Min-jun had provided, did her makeup carefully to hide the remnants of her split lip, and walked to his office with her head high. He was on the phone when she arrived, speaking rapid Korean about shipping manifests and territory agreements. He gestured for her to sit, finished his call, then gave her his full attention. "You've decided," he said. "Not a question. I'm in. I'll work for you. Help you build your African expansion. Learn your business." She met his eyes steadily. "But I have conditions." His eyebrow raised. "I'm listening." "I want real responsibilities, not make work. I want to learn everything about how your organization operates. I want protection not just physically but legally. And I want a contract in writing outlining everything we're agreeing to." "Done. What else?" "Teach me how to shoot." That surprised him. "Excuse me. Last night, I was helpless. I watched you fight for your life while I stood there useless. I never want to be that vulnerable again." Her voice was hard, determined. "If I'm going to be in your world, I need to be able to protect myself." Min-jun studied her for a long moment. Then he smiled, genuine and approving. "Yuna was right. You're going to be an asset." "Yuna talks about me?" "Yuna runs background checks and character assessments on everyone who enters my orbit. She said you had fire under the fear." I'm glad to see she was correct. He stood, extended his hand. "Welcome to the Kang organization, Miss Okonkwo. Let's build something extraordinary." Zara shook his hand, feeling like she was jumping off a cliff into unknown waters. But maybe that's what survival required. The courage to leap even when you couldn't see the bottom. The next 3 months were the most intense of Zara's life. Min-jun wasn't joking about real responsibilities. He threw her into the deep end of his operations, teaching her the intricacies of import-export, the delicate balance of territory management, the careful dance of maintaining power without escalating into open war. She learned that Min-jun's organization controlled shipping lanes, entertainment venues, real estate across Seoul, and had fingers in nearly every major industry. Some of it was legal. Much of it wasn't. All of it required constant vigilance. She attended meetings with men who terrified her. Men with dead eyes and violent reputations who deferred to Min-jun with wary respect. She learned to sit quietly, observe, analyze, and report back with insights that often surprised him. "You notice things others miss," he told her after a particularly tense negotiation with a rival family. "The park lieutenant, he was lying about the weapon shipment." "How did you know?" "His hands," Zara explained. "He kept touching his watch when he talked about delivery dates." "A tell. My father used to do the same thing when he was hiding something from my mother." Min-jun had smiled. "Remind me never to play poker with you." He also kept his promise about teaching her to shoot. Twice a week, they went to a private range where she learned to handle pistols, rifles, even throwing knives. She was terrible at first, her hands shaking every time she held a weapon. But gradually, under Min-jun's patient instruction, she improved. "You're thinking too much," he said during one session, standing behind her to adjust her stance. "Don't think. Feel. The gun is an extension of you. Your intent, your will, your survival." Easy for you to say. You've been doing this your whole life. And you've been surviving your whole life. Same skill, different application. He stepped back. Again. She fired. Hit the target center mass. Better. Again. By month 2, she could disassemble and reassemble a Glock blindfolded. Could hit a moving target at 50 meters. Could walk through Seoul's dangerous neighborhoods with confidence instead of fear. But it wasn't just combat training. Min-jun educated her in his world's culture. The hierarchies, the codes, the intricate web of alliances and rivalries that govern Seoul's underworld. She learned which families could be trusted, which were ambitious, which were desperate enough to be dangerous. She learned that Min-jun's position was constantly under threat. That he'd inherited the Kang organization at 27 when his father was assassinated, thrust into leadership before he was ready. That he'd spent 5 years consolidating power, eliminating threats, building something stable from chaos. And she learned that he was lonely. It showed in small moments. The way he stayed late at the office, working rather than going home to an empty penthouse. The careful distance he maintained from everyone except his most trusted advisors. The flash of something vulnerable in his eyes when he thought no one was watching. Zara understood that loneliness. She felt it too, even surrounded by people. The isolation of being different, foreign, never quite fitting in. They started having dinner together. Not every night, but often enough that it became a routine. They'd sit in his private dining room, discussing business at first, then gradually sharing more personal things. "Do you miss Nigeria?" he asked one evening over bulgogi and soju. "Every day. The food, the music, the way people interact. Koreans are more reserved. Nigerians are loud, expressive, in your face." She smiled, remembering. "I miss my mother's jollof rice. Miss my siblings fighting over the last piece of meat. Miss neighbors who know everyone's business and aren't afraid to tell you when you're messing up." It sounds overwhelming. It's home. She took a drink. "What about you? You grew up in this world. Do you ever want to leave it?" "Every single day." The admission seemed to surprise him. "I didn't choose this life. It chose me. Born into the Kang family means being part of the organization. It's in my blood, my name, my destiny, whether I wanted it or not. But you're good at it. Being good at something doesn't mean you love it." He met her eyes. "I'm trying to change it, though. Make it less about violence and more about legitimate business. Build something my children could inherit without shame." You want children? Someday. If I can find a woman willing to join this chaos. He laughed without humor. Not many candidates lining up to marry a gangster, even a wealthy one. They're lost, Zara said softly. Something shifted in the air between them. A awareness, a tension that had been building for weeks, but neither had acknowledged. Min-jun broke eye contact first. It's late. You should rest. But as Zara left for her suite, she felt his eyes following her, and she knew things were getting complicated in ways that had nothing to do with business. By month 3, Zara had proven herself invaluable to the organization. She'd negotiated a shipping contract with a Nigerian company that opened entire new markets. She'd identified a mole in their operations, saving them from a costly betrayal. She'd earned the respect of Min-jun's men through competence and courage. And somewhere along the way, she'd stopped thinking about Marcus. Stopped checking social media to see if he was posting about her. Stopped caring what people said about the viral video of her humiliation. She was building a new life, a new identity. Not Marcus's discarded girlfriend. Not a victim. But Zara Okonkwo, executive in the Kang organization, a woman who commanded respect through her own merit. Then Marcus showed up at Min-jun's building. Zara was in a meeting when Yuna interrupted, her expression tight. Miss Okonkwo, you have a visitor. Marcus Chin is downstairs demanding to see you. Every head in the conference room turned to Zara. She felt Min-jun's eyes on her, assessing her reaction. Tell him I'm busy, Zara said calmly, though her heart was pounding. He's insisting. He's caused quite a scene. Security is ready to remove him, but I thought you should know. Zara stood. I'll handle it. Min-jun rose too. I'll come with you. You don't need to. I know. His eyes were hard. I'm coming anyway. They rode the elevator down in tense silence. Zara's mind raced. Why was Marcus here? What could he possibly want after 3 months of silence? The lobby was in controlled chaos. Marcus stood in the center, designer clothes and expensive haircut, surrounded by Min-jun's security who were very politely preventing him from going further. He looked agitated, desperate even. When he saw Zara, his face lit up with relief. Zara. Finally. I've been trying to reach you for weeks. You changed your number, you're not on social media anymore. I had to track you down through your old university contacts. What do you want, Marcus? Her voice was cold, detached. I want to talk. To apologize. Baby, I made a terrible mistake that night. I was drunk, stressed about the drama, and I took it out on you. I'm so sorry. I've missed you so much. Zara stared at him, this man she'd loved for 3 years, and felt nothing. No anger, no hurt, no longing. Just a vague disgust. You threw me out in the rain. Called me nothing. Made me beg on camera for millions to see. I know, and I hate myself for it. But we can fix this. Come home, baby. Come back to me. I'll make it right, I promise. Why no? Min-jun's voice cut through Marcus's pleading. He'd been standing slightly behind Zara, quiet, but now he moved to her side. She's been gone 3 months. What changed? Marcus's eyes flicked to Min-jun, taking in his expensive suit, his commanding presence, the way security deferred to him. Who are you? I'm her employer. Answer the question. Marcus's jaw tightened. This is between me and my girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend, Zara corrected. You made that very clear. Baby, please. I love you. I always have. That night was a mistake. 1 mistake in 3 years. Don't throw away what we had over 1 bad night. 1 bad night? Zara's voice rose despite her best efforts to stay calm. You isolated me from my friends. Convinced me to quit my job. Kept me hidden from your family and colleagues like I was shameful. Then you threw me out with nothing and told the world I was trash. That wasn't 1 bad night, Marcus. That was 3 years of you treating me like I didn't matter. That's not fair. You're right. It's not fair. None of it was fair. But I'm done pretending it was love when it was just you using me until I became inconvenient. Marcus's expression hardened. I see what this is. You found yourself a sugar daddy. He looked at Min-jun with contempt. How much is he paying you? Because I can match it. I got that new drama deal, the endorsements. I can take care of you now. Min-jun moved so fast Marcus stumbled backward. He didn't touch him, just invaded his space with barely controlled violence. Speak to her like that again, Min-jun said softly, and security won't stop me from breaking every bone in your face. Are you threatening me? I'm making a promise. Min-jun's smile was terrifying. You had something precious and you threw it away. That's your loss, your shame, your failure. She's built something real here, something that matters. You don't get to diminish that because you're suffering from regret. Marcus turned back to Zara, desperation clear now. This is crazy. You're working for a gangster. Everyone knows the Kang family is involved in illegal shit. You're going to get yourself killed. Maybe, Zara said. But I'll die as myself, not as your accessory. Baby, please. I'm begging you. Come home. I'll do better. I'll be better. We can get married, have kids, everything you wanted. 3 months ago, those words would have made Zara's heart sore. Now they just made her sad. Sad for the woman who'd believed them. Sad for the time she'd wasted. Sad that he thought she was still that desperate, broken girl he'd thrown away. I don't want you anymore, Marcus. I don't love you. I don't even like you. You taught me what I don't deserve, and for that, I should probably thank you. She stepped back into Min-jun's orbit. Security, please escort Mr. Chen out. If he returns, call the police. Zara, no, wait. But security was already moving, firmly guiding Marcus toward the exit. He struggled, shouted her name, made promises and threats in equal measure. But they removed him efficiently, professionally, and soon the lobby was quiet again. Zara stood there, breathing hard, shaking slightly with adrenaline. You okay? Min-jun asked quietly. I think so. She looked up at him. Thank you. For having my back. Always. His eyes held something warm, something that made her heart skip. Come on. Let's get back to work. We have that conference call with the Lagos partners in an hour. As they walked to the elevator, Zara glanced back at the door where Marcus had been removed. 3 months ago, she would have taken him back, grateful for crumbs of his attention. Now she was grateful he'd thrown her away. Because that night in the rain had led her here, to a life that was dangerous and complicated, but undeniably hers. We're more than halfway through Zara's transformation, and things are about to get even more intense. If you're loving this journey, show some support by liking this video and subscribing. Drop a comment about what you think happens next because trust me, you won't see this coming. The Lagos deal went through, bringing in profits that exceeded even Min-jun's projections. Zara's understanding of both cultures proved invaluable, bridging gaps that would have derailed negotiations with less skilled handling. You've made yourself indispensable, Min-jun told her after they finalized the contract. They were in his office, celebrating with expensive whiskey. I don't know how I managed international deals before you. Poorly, according to your profit margins. He laughed, genuine and warm. Poorly indeed. They'd gotten closer over the months. The professional boundaries were still there, but underneath was something neither acknowledged. Lingering glances. Hands that touched a moment too long during handshakes. Conversations that stretched late into the night about things that had nothing to do with business. Zara told herself it was just gratitude. Min-jun had saved her, given her a new life, treated her with respect and care. Of course, she felt drawn to him. But late at night, alone in her suite, she admitted it was more. She was falling for him. His intelligence, his quiet strength, the vulnerability he showed only to her. The way he listened when she talked about her family, her culture, her dreams. The way he looked at her sometimes, like she was something precious he was afraid to touch. Zara, he said now, his voice serious. There's something I need to tell you. Her heart jumped. What? The Park family is making moves. Aggressive ones. They've been encroaching on our territory, trying to provoke a response. My advisors are pushing for retaliation, but that means war. Open conflict that could get bloody. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. But if it goes bad, you could be targeted. You've become visible in the organization. People know you're important to me. He met her eyes. I can send you somewhere safe. Lagos, maybe. Until things settle. I'm not running. Zara. I said I'm not running. She stood, moved to where he Saturday. You gave me a chance when I had nothing. Taught me to be strong, to fight, to matter. I'm not abandoning you when things get dangerous. We're in this together. You could die. We all die eventually. At least this way, I die standing up. Min-jun stood too, close enough that she could feel the heat of his body, smell his cologne. You're the most stubborn woman I've ever met. You love it. I do. The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. I do. Not I do love your stubbornness. Just I do. Zara's breath caught. Min-jun. I've been trying not to do this, he said softly. You work for me. The power dynamic is complicated. You've been through trauma with your ex. The timing is terrible. I have 1,000 reasons why this is a bad idea. But I think about you constantly. I look forward to our meetings, our dinners, any excuse to be near you. You've become the most important person in my life, and it terrifies me because caring about people makes them targets in my world. Zara's heart was racing. I'm not afraid. You should be. Maybe I've gotten good at being brave. He cupped her face with one hand, his thumb brushing her cheek. If we do this, if we cross this line, there's no going back. My enemies will use you against me. My allies will question my judgment. Your life gets exponentially more complicated. It's already complicated. Might as well add one more complication that makes me happy. Min-jun smiled, soft and genuine. Then he kissed her, gentle and questioning, giving her every opportunity to pull back. Zara didn't pull back. She kissed him back, pouring 3 months of tension and longing into it. This wasn't Marcus's demanding kisses that took what he wanted. This was Min-jun asking, offering, sharing. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against hers. We're going to have to be careful, he murmured. I know. My enemies can't know you matter to me. Not until I've secured our position. I understand. And if it gets too dangerous, we'll deal with it together. She pulled back enough to meet his eyes. I'm not a victim anymore, Min-jun. I'm a partner. Treat me like one. Yes, ma'am. They kissed again, deeper this time, until Min-jun's phone buzzed with an urgent message. He checked it, his expression darkening. The Park family just hit one of our warehouses. Burned it to the ground. Casualties. 2 guards dead. Several injured. Zara felt the weight of that. Lives lost in a game of power and territory. What do you do now? Call a meeting with the other families. Make it clear that further aggression will be met with overwhelming force. His jaw was tight. I didn't want war. But I won't let them think the Kang family is weak. I'm coming with you. Zara, that's not safe. I said I'm coming. If we're partners, then I stand with you. Publicly. Min-jun looked like he wanted to argue, but something in her expression stopped him. All right. But you stay close to me, and if shooting starts, you get behind cover. Understood. Understood. The meeting was held at neutral territory, a traditional hanok that had served as Seoul's underground parliament for decades. All the major families attended. The Park family, the Choi family, the older Don Kim who technically had authority over all of them, and smaller organizations looking to align with whoever came out on top. Zara walked in beside Min-jun, aware of every eye tracking her. The only woman in a room full of dangerous men. The only foreigner in a gathering of Korean power brokers. She kept her head high, her expression calm, even as her heart hammered. Park Junho, the Park family head, sneered when he saw her. You bring your pet to a business meeting, calm? I bring my executive director of international operations, Min-jun replied coolly. Miss Okonkwo has proven her worth to my organization repeatedly. Can you say the same about the idiots who burned my warehouse? That was a message. Stay out of the Hongdae district. It's Park territory now. It's been Kang territory for 20 years. Times change. Your father's dead. You're weak, playing businessman instead of being a real leader. We're taking what you can't hold. The room tensed. Several hands moved toward weapons. Don Kim, ancient and terrifying despite his age, raised a hand. Park Junho makes a territorial claim. Kang Min-jun disputes. We will vote. With respect, Don Kim, Min-jun said, this isn't a matter for voting. The Park family initiated violence against my property and killed my people. That demands response. What response? Park challenged. You going to hide behind your foreign whore while real men handle business? Zara felt Min-jun tense beside her, felt the violence coiling in him. She put a hand on his arm, subtle but firm. "Mr. Park," she said, her voice carrying across the room. "I understand you're upset that the Kang organization has expanded profits by 40% under my strategies while your family has stagnated. I understand that innovation threatens those comfortable with old, failing methods. But calling me names won't change the fact that we're outmaneuvering you in every market that matters." The room went dead silent. A woman had just spoken. A foreign woman had just disrespected a family head. The audacity was shocking. Park's face went purple. "You dare. I dare speak truth. Your warehouse attacks are desperation, not strength. You're hemorrhaging money, losing territories to smarter operators, and lashing out because you can't compete legitimately." She stepped forward, ignoring Min-jun's warning hand. "So yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm influential in the Kang organization. And yes, that bothers you because you're realizing the world is changing and you're being left behind." Park moved toward her, hand reaching for a gun. Several things happened simultaneously. Min-jun drew faster, his weapon aimed at Park's head. Park's men drew on Min-jun. Kang's men drew on Park's men. The room erupted into a Mexican standoff with a dozen guns pointed in various directions. "Enough." Don Kim's voice cracked like thunder. "Everyone lower weapons. Now." Slowly, reluctantly, guns lowered. But the tension remained, thick enough to choke on. "The Park family has violated protocols by attacking without council approval," Don Kim said. "The Kang family has right to proportional response. But we will not have open war in Seoul. It's bad for everyone's business." "Then what do you suggest?" Min-jun asked, never taking his eyes off Park. "Trial by challenge. Old way. One representative from each family. They fight. Winner's family gains the disputed territory. A duel," Zara said. "That's barbaric." "That's tradition," Don Kim replied. "Honorable combat between champions. No innocent casualties. No collateral damage. Clean solution." Park smiled, cruel and confident. "I accept. My champion will destroy yours, Kang. Then we'll see who's weak." Min-jun's expression was unreadable. "When?" 3 days. Neutral location. Weapons or hand-to-hand, your choice." "Hand-to-hand." Min-jun finally lowered his gun. "I'll be my own champion." "Min-jun, no," Zara whispered urgently. "It's the only way." Park laughed. "The pretty boy wants to play tough. Fine. 3 days, Kang. Prepare to lose everything." The meeting dispersed with threats lingering in the air like smoke. Zara followed Min-jun to his car, her mind racing. "You can't fight him," she said once they were alone. "Park will send a professional. Someone trained to kill. I've been training my whole life. This is insane. There has to be another way." "There isn't." He took her hands. "If I don't fight, I look weak. The other families will turn on us. We'll lose everything I've built. This is the only play." "Then let me help you train." 3 days isn't much, but we can use them. "Zara, I'm not losing you." The words came out fierce, desperate. "Not when I just found you." His expression softened. "I don't plan on losing." The next 3 days were brutal. Min-jun trained constantly, sparring with his best fighters, pushing his body to its limits. Zara watched, analyzed, helped strategize based on what little intelligence they could gather about Park's chosen champion. A man named Han. Ex-Special Forces. Known for breaking bones and not stopping even when his opponent was down. "He's going to fight dirty," Zara said the night before the duel. "That's his pattern. Acts honorable until he has an advantage, then uses every illegal move possible." "I know. So we fight dirtier." Min-jun looked at her. "What are you suggesting?" "That you stop fighting like a businessman trying to prove he's tough and start fighting like a man who has something to lose." She moved closer. "You have me to lose. Remember that when he's coming for you." That night, they made love for the first time. Desperate and tender, clinging to each other like drowning victims to driftwood. Zara memorized every touch, every sound, terrified it might be the last time. "Whatever happens tomorrow," Min-jun whispered against her skin, "know that you saved me." You walked into my life covered in rain and heartbreak, and you saved me. You saved me first. We saved each other. The duel took place in an old warehouse, stripped clean for the occasion. Representatives from all the major families attended, forming a circle around the combat area. Zara stood with the Kang contingent, her heart in her throat. Park's champion, Han, was massive. Muscular, scarred, with dead eyes that had seen too much violence. He looked at Min-jun like prey. Min-jun looked calm, focused, dangerous. He'd tied back his hair, stripped to just pants and hand wraps. His body was lean muscle, built for speed and precision rather than brute strength. Don Kim officiated. Traditional rules. Fight until submission, unconsciousness, or death. Anything goes once combat begins. May the stronger family prevail. The two men circled each other. Han attacked first, a brutal combination meant to overwhelm with speed and power. Min-jun dodged, deflected, looking for openings. He's too cautious, Yuna murmured beside Zara. He needs to engage. He's studying him, learning his patterns. The fight intensified. Han landed a solid hit to Min-jun's ribs that made Zara wince. Min-jun retaliated with a knee that staggered Han backward. They separated, circling again. Blood dripped from Min-jun's split lip. Han's eye was already swelling. "Come on, Kong!" Park shouted from across the circle. "Show us what you've got." Han charged again, this time feinting high and going low. He caught Min-jun's legs, took him to the ground. Bad position. Han was a grappler, trained to dominate on the ground. He rained down punches, brutal and efficient. Min-jun covered up, took the hits, waited for an opening. There. Han overextended, reaching for a submission hold. Min-jun bucked, reversed, ended up on top. Now it was his turn. He struck with elbows, precise and devastating. Han's nose broke with an audible crack. Blood everywhere. But Han didn't submit. He caught one of Min-jun's arms, twisted viciously. Zara heard something pop. Min-jun's shoulder dislocated. He fell back, cradling his arm. Han rose, victorious grin on his bloody face. "Finish him!" Park screamed. Han advanced, ready to end it. Min-jun struggled to stand, one arm useless. "Get up," Zara whispered desperately. "Please get up." Min-jun met her eyes across the circle. Saw her fear, her love, everything she felt written on her face. Something shifted in his expression. He stopped fighting like a man trying to win a duel. Started fighting like a man protecting something precious. When Han came in for the kill, Min-jun moved. One-armed, injured, but faster than he'd been the entire fight. He slipped Han's attack, got behind him, locked in a chokehold with his good arm. Han struggled, tried to break free. But Min-jun held on, using his legs to control Han's body, applying pressure to the carotid artery. "Submit," Min-jun growled. Han refused. Kept fighting even as his face went red, then purple. Consciousness fading. Finally, his hand tapped twice against Min-jun's arm. Submission. Min-jun released him immediately. Han collapsed, gasping for air. Min-jun stood over him, swaying but victorious. The circle erupted. Kong family members celebrating, Park family members furious. Don Kim raised his hand for silence. The challenge is decided. Kang Min-jun is victorious. The disputed territory remains Kang property. The Park family will withdraw all claims and cease aggression. Park looked like he wanted to protest, but Don Kim's glare silenced him. The old ways were absolute. The duel had spoken. Zara ran to Min-jun as the circle broke up. He caught her with his good arm, held her close despite his injuries. "You did it," she breathed. "We did it." He kissed her forehead. "You gave me something worth fighting for." They got him to a doctor immediately. The shoulder was relocated, his ribs taped, his cuts stitched. Nothing permanently damaged except his pride at needing medical attention. "I'm getting too old for this," he joked as the doctor worked. "You're 32, Zara replied. 32 with a dislocated shoulder and bruised ribs. "Old. My hero." He smiled, then winced as the doctor adjusted his arm. "Some hero. I almost lost. But you didn't. That's what matters." Later, when they were alone in his penthouse, Zara helped him into bed and curled up beside him carefully, avoiding his injuries. I've been thinking, Min-jun said quietly, about the future. About what I want versus what I'm expected to want. And I want you. Not as an employee, not as a secret, but as my partner. Publicly, completely, damn the consequences. Zara's heart stuttered. Min-jun, I know it's fast. I know it's complicated. But these past months with you have been the happiest of my life. You make me want to be better, to build something beyond just power and territory. You make me hope. I want that too, she whispered. But your enemies will target you whether we hide our relationship or not. They already see you as important to me. Might as well make it official. Official how? He pulled a small box from the nightstand, wincing at the movement. Inside was a ring. Simple, elegant, a single diamond surrounded by smaller stones. Marry me, Zara Okonkwo. Be my partner in business and in life. Help me build something that matters. Give me a reason to keep fighting for a better future. Tears streamed down Zara's face. 6 months ago, she'd been broken and alone, discarded like trash in the rain. Now she was being offered everything by a man who saw her true worth. Yes, she said. Yes, I'll marry you. He slipped the ring on her finger, then pulled her close despite his injuries. I love you. I don't think I've said that clearly enough. I love you. I love you too. She kissed him gently. My dangerous, complicated, wonderful man. They lay together in comfortable silence, planning a future neither had expected but both desperately wanted. Outside, Seoul glittered in the night. The city that had broken Zara and rebuilt her. The city where she'd lost everything and found something better. 3 months later, they married in a private ceremony attended by family and trusted allies. Zara's mother cried happy tears, overjoyed that her daughter had found someone who cherished her. Min-jun's organization celebrated their boss finding happiness after years of lonely duty. And Marcus, watching from afar through social media posts, he couldn't resist checking, realized exactly what he'd thrown away. If you made it to the end of Zara's incredible journey from heartbreak to happiness, congratulations! Show this video some love by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel for more amazing stories. Drop a comment telling me what you thought of Zara and Min-jun's love story. Should there be a sequel? Let me know. And don't forget to check out the other stories on this channel. Until next time, remember that sometimes our worst moments lead us to our best lives. Sometimes you have to be broken down completely to be rebuilt into something stronger. And sometimes the person who saves you is the one you never saw coming.